one company who thought they had a display booth, but unfortunately didn't. I don't know how that. Our apologies to Radiation Solutions about that. But hopefully everybody's settled and we can get this thing going. So it's a busy day, full day, and then tomorrow, a full day of demonstrations. So I thought I'd start with, wait a minute, I'm gonna click on this. Got it. I thought I'd start with a nomenclature because I've always been confused by the nomenclature of drones and UAVs and all the rest of it. So I looked this up the other night and jotted them down. A drone, as Ron tells me, actually comes from the World War II. The Germans were sending over these unmanned aircraft across the channel with just enough gas to get to London, and then they'd crash into London and blow up. And so as the people of southern England would hear these drone sounds coming over, and they knew it was going to be a bomb, it was going to land somewhere. And so that the word, drone meaning low continuous low hum, and so they called these things drones, and that's how the name got going. And it's the popular name that most people use, is the name I like to use, but there's been various acronyms that have come along, starting with UAV, unoccupied aerial vehicles. That's pretty obvious. And then that doesn't include the pilots, so UAS, which is unoccupied aircraft systems, so that's the same as a UAV plus the pilot, so it's a complete system, which is what we're doing. And that's not quite descriptive enough. So the most recent nomenclature for what we're doing is RPAS, remotely piloted aircraft systems. So that explains it pretty much entirely. But I find drones is the easier way to express it, and that's why I call this Drones in Geoscience. And the clicker is here. That advances, yes. So I don't know if anybody's seen, everybody I'm sure knows of Ken Burns, who makes these wonderful documentaries like Civil War and baseball and things like that. His most recent one is called Benjamin Franklin. And it's the life and times of Benjamin Franklin, an amazing man. That was on PBS about a month ago or so. And towards the end of it, this appeared, talking about the 1783 air show in Paris, the very first air show that was ever done, shortly after these hot air balloons were invented. And it was the rage in Paris in 1783. There was hundreds of thousands of people out to watch this. It was an amazing sight with all these balloons up in the air because nobody had ever seen them before. And Benjamin Franklin happened to be there in the audience. He was the ambassador to France at the time, a key position because he was securing the money from France to fund the Revolutionary War, the Americans. And without securing that money, the Americans never would have won. And so he was watching this, and there's a man standing next to him. And this man says, looking at all these drones, these balloons floating around, says, interesting, but what's the use of it? And Benjamin Franklin turns to him and says, what is the use of a newborn baby? Thinking Benjamin Franklin is a scientist, as well as an ambassador, as well as a politician, as well as a publisher. So he's thinking of all the uses that could be made of these things floating around in the air. Now, I think that's an interesting analogy to where we are with drones right now. We're not newborn babies. We're well past that. We're well into childhood. We're probably into teenage years, but we're not adults yet. Drones are clearly not adults. And as anybody who has a teenager, who has been a teenager, knows that they need guidance, and they got the whole future to look forward to as adults. And I think that's exactly where we're at drones. So I'm hoping this workshop today shows you this and convinces you that there's a huge, huge future in drone technology applied to geoscience.